Hey, what's up? Welcome to TS for Transformation. I'm your host, Shaun T, and I think it's very, very important for me to say this before we begin. I am your biggest fan. You don't have to agree with everything I say, and I may not agree with everything you say. I think that when we watch our favorite motivators or our favorite athletes or our influencers or whatever, I think people don't understand that even when you are in like your relationship, like Scott and I, like we don't agree on everything, but we are open to what other people say because their experience to getting to this place in their life is completely different. What I say here, my advice is not something that I want you to take, verbatim, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. I think is great. I think it's great to disagree with someone. To me, that is the true definition of being able to transform, to take someone's information and be like, I don't agree with that. However, this is what I would do. And I love having conversations with people. I think one of the things that Scott and I really enjoyed when we lived in New York City is we had some friends where we would go to this place called Dallas BBQ. We went there way too much. I mean, it was ribs, it was fried chicken, it was cornbread, it was corn on the cob, it was, some healthy stuff. But most importantly, it was like really big drinks. But we would have these friends and we would go to this incredible place and we would have these conversations. And these are people that we absolutely love. Like literally our best friends that we spent a lot of time with. And we would get into some, not arguments, but we would get into heated discussions because for whatever the subject was, like some people would disagree, some people would agree, but it was just so cool to be able to be in a group of people and you learn more about them and why they were able to process where they got to. So I say all that to say is everything I give you, every motivational fact I give you is from my life experience, but again, I'm your biggest fan. My intentions are to help you out, or it's designed to make you think in a different way, which I think being challenged by people is really good as well. One of the things that Scott used to absolutely hate about me, he says, you're a button pusher. Like, you're a button pusher. And I used to get mad when he would call me a button pusher, but then I'm like, I'm absolutely a button pusher. And he was like, why do you like doing that? I'm like, because I want to see where someone's brain is. I want to see how they think, how they get there. And I never, when someone pushes my buttons, I actually don't get mad. I'm like, oh, you want to go here? Like, let's go. I say all that to say is, I love to give you such great sound advice. I think I'm reaching that place in my life at 46 years old, almost 47, where I have enough wisdom and enough life experience to be able to give you things, whether it's health, mental health, physical health, relationships. I feel like I'm in a successful relationship after 14 years. And most importantly, having transformed so many people. And I'm so blessed because this entire journey started out with me really trying to achieve transforming one person's life. And here we are. So thank you for that. But let's get ready to dig a little bit deeper today. All right. I'm in love with the questions from today. This is like going to be so cool, so helpful. And also I want to say that sometimes I repeat subjects that I repeated the last time we had this one-on-one because they come from a different place. So they may have a slightly different answer, but it's all obviously to help push you forward in your transformation. All right, so I'm going to start out by saying, if you can give someone 3 top habits to create to help sustain real change, what would they be? So first of all, I don't believe in habits. I know, they say, I don't even know what they say, and I don't even know who they are. You having a conversation with people and you're like, they say, I'm like, who the hell is they? But anyway, people say, or there's a saying like, if you do such and such for 120 days and you created a habit. But I also believe that I would love to change the word habit to commitment. So what are some commitment behaviors that people could do to help them have and sustain real change? First and foremost, you have to know why you're here. You have to get into a habit of asking yourself and revisiting yourself, being like, why am I here? Why did I make this decision? Because if you don't know why you're here or why you made this decision or why you're taking the actions that you're taking, I know that you're going to go along this journey and then you're one day going to reach back and be like, Well, why did I even do that? And that's why I use the example a lot when it comes to getting results for other people, because you might in the moment be like, oh, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to do this. And then like 3 years into a relationship, you're like, well, I was doing all that for that person. So that's why I think the number one commitment behavior you need to have is constantly talking to yourself saying, why am I doing this for me? That's the most important. The second thing is just learning how to commit in general. So the behavior that you need to do when it comes to being able to have sustainable change is, and I say this all the time, not doing too much. And this happens a lot of times in the beginning of the year, or it happens a lot when people are getting married or they're going to go on a vacation. What happens is they go all in, all in, all in, all in, and their mind is literally on the end goal. And so they don't celebrate the changes along the way, or they're doing too much, or they're not able to commit. That's why I always say, make your weekly goal something like, especially if you're just starting out, I'm going to work out 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm going to try to eat 10 healthy meals. That way, you can be proud of the commitment that you made for this week. Give yourself really, really, really small goals that you can really, really commit to. Because if you work out 2 to 3 times a week and you have those 10 healthy meals, by the next week, you're going to be like, yeah, I went out, I had, I maybe ordered out a couple more times than I wanted to. However, if you committed to what you said you were going to do for yourself, then you have success. Instead of saying, I'm going to eat lettuce for 7 days in a row and I'm going to do an hour and a half of cardio. This is something that's not sustainable, right? So you have to do that. All right. So the third commitment behavior that I think you should have is really taking time to reflect on your success. Again, and I know a lot of this is not very specific to like weight loss or necessarily nutrition. These commitment behaviors are the things that's going to constantly give back to you. They're going to constantly make you question yourself and if you're doing the right thing. People ask me, how'd you stay committed to fitness for 27 years? Well, I found it to be quite simple because I never trapped myself into a box. So, I started out as a dancer in the beginning. Then I did cycling. I did group exercise. I was an athlete. I played tennis. I mean, I was basically a decathlete of fitness, right? So I would do all different types of things. I didn't just rope myself into one thing. Even as a bodybuilder now, some of you know, like I still dance. That's why I do TikToks. That's why I was dancing with the Arizona Cardinals cheerleaders, because I'm like, yes, I'm a bodybuilder, but like there are other things that fill my soul. Like there are other things that I love to do. It's a little hard to play tennis at this size right now. I'm gassed after like 10 minutes, but I still do it because I absolutely love it. So make sure you are multidimensional in the things that you choose to do. And the behaviors are less about working out every single day. And the commitment behavior is more about, what am I going to do for me? Because if you can constantly ask that question, you're going to constantly do. You're going to constantly commit. And just like in the beginning, when you give yourself goals that you know you can win, you're going to constantly win. All right. So the next thing is, you talk about situational exercise. What is it and why is it a bad thing? I'm going to start with that. So situational exercise, it's a good and bad thing. But situational exercise is kind of like I said earlier, I have a wedding. I have a vacation I'm going to go on. I'm going out, I'm going to a spa weekend with my girls and my homeboys, like whatever. And so what happens is, and I'm going to use the wedding for the most part, and this is where some people may really get mad at your boy Shaun T, but I'm just going to be honest. People spend so much time and effort to lose weight, to look good for that day. And then you look good, and then I've heard it many times. I've literally helped transform thousands of lives in person. And a lot of people will come into one of my transformation groups and they'll say, well, I want to fit back into my wedding dress. And I'm like, so what did you do leading up to the wedding? And they're like, oh, I was like very committed. We worked out every day, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so what happened after the wedding? And they're like, oh, married light. No, that's an excuse. You were trying to look good for all those other people. That's why it's situational. You're like, I want to have great pictures for my wedding day. Is that a bad thing? Absolutely not. But if you would have just taken 50% of what you did to get to the wedding day body or whatever it is that you wanted, just 50% of that, you wouldn't find yourself in a situation that you are now. It's situational. It's just like going to the beach. I used to be that person. I used to be like, oh, Scott, like we're going on vacation. Like, oh my God, I'm going to wear my Speedos. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have all my shit together, whatever. I don't do that shit no more. I'm like, this is where I'm at. Bitch, I'm sexy. So like, I'm not like, I know like now if I go on vacation, I'm 240 pounds. I'm still going to live my best life. And also, and this is going to be like so rude what I'm about to say, the only person that's going to talk about your body not being good is an ignorant ass person. Like that's the only person. Like I meet a lot of people because y'all know I'd like to talk clearly, and I love meeting people. I love it. I get it from my mother. I talk to somebody in Kohl's. I have a best friend before I leave there. The thing is, I talk to a lot of people. Not once in the entire history of me. And this is somebody who is I'm a fitness icon. Hey, I never once sit there, meet somebody at the beach and be like, I'm looking at their body. I'm looking at their face. And half the time, like the minute I find somebody's personality to be like fruitful and abundant, I'm like, I'm not even worried about your body. Like that's on you. So is it important to want to look good and feel confident? Absolutely. But don't put so much emphasis on it to look good for everyone else out there. Build your confidence. And so here, how do you combat this? It's like, okay, if you are going to get married and you do want to look good that day, let's say you're getting married in 6 months, make your plan for 18 months. If your goal is to get to your wedding, you're probably going to stop, especially if you didn't find commitment before. But if you're like, yo, this is an 18-month goal, and at the end of that 18 months, I'm going to be in a sustainable space, which I would love to help people find their sustainable space. But it's like, so now you're not stopping at the wedding. You're married. Yeah, you go on your honeymoon. You have a little fun, whatever. But you come back home with your new spouse and you're chilling. You're like, yo, like we're gonna keep up this fitness routine. All right, maybe we don't need to do it like 7 days a week because I know we kind of wanted to look good for our wedding, but let's do it like 4 to 5 and let's hold each other accountable and let's do that for 18 months. And then that's where you get into that quote unquote habit. That's where it becomes like a commitment behavior and it becomes a lifestyle change at the end of the day. All right, the second part of that, it's so funny, like Biggest Loser, workout challenge participant, competition where people are paid to lose weight. That was just examples. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about my situation with The Biggest Loser. I'm just going to like leave that in private conversation. But I personally feel that the faster you lose weight, the faster you gain it back. And that's just it. And when you're doing anything, again, like I talked about a wedding, but when you're doing anything for money, like that's literally not doing it for yourself. You will spend that money way quicker than it takes for you to have sustainable results and build those commitment behaviors. I'm telling you right now, if you want to go on a show and win a lot of money, great. I would say in the process, make sure you have a nutritionist for when you come back home, a therapist for when you come back home, and a personal trainer for when you come back home. And as you go through that process, write down everything that you loved about it, write down everything that you hated about it so that you can build your program post. Because I've seen it far too many times that people will lose a lot of weight quick and they gain that weight back. All right, how does someone enjoy their favorite food, cheat meal without it derailing your plan? First of all, y'all put way too much power into a donut, a piece of cake, a piece of pizza, a glass of wine. Y'all put way too much, like y'all give it way too much power. People literally say to me when I make my Donut Friday videos, they're like, oh my, so I get two different things. How can you eat that and look like that? And the second thing I get mostly is, well, you can eat anything you want. Neither of those things, well, I can eat a donut and look like this. Yes, I can. And I can't eat anything I want if I want to look like this. The problem is it starts up here. You think you're cheating yourself when you're eating a donut. You think you're cheating yourself when you're eating a piece of cake. You think you're cheating yourself when you're at dinner with a bunch of friends and the dessert menu comes out and you're the only one that eats the dessert. Bitch, I'm like, listen, if you have apple crisp or an apple pie with some like sorbet, I can't have ice cream. If it's on, listen, if it's on the menu, I'm literally eating it. Unless I'm in prep, getting ready for a show, because my coach would like have my neck, because for some reason he knows if I have one gummy bear, he can see it in my body. Not really, but I think he kind of has that superpower. But the thing is, when you have a treat meal, that's why I don't call it cheat meals. When you have a treat meal, like you're celebrating something. And most importantly, that one piece of cake, that one donut, that one glass of wine, that's not 20 pounds. It's literally not. It's literally not 20 pounds. It's like, if you eat it in moderation, a donut, if it's a ridiculous donut, 600 calories, that's a ridiculous one. But a normal one, well, I don't really know actually, because I eat a lot of donuts. But think about that. If you're eating 2,000 calories a day, and like, let's say a donut is 500 calories, you got 1,500 more calories. And not only can you eat those 1,500 more calories and make it really healthy or go back on whatever plan you're on, like it's actually amazing to be like, oh yeah, I can eat a donut. Like, this is cool. Like, I can have donuts on Friday if I want to, because I'm not giving it the power. That it's not the donut, it's not the piece of cake. It's the donut, and then you're like, damn, I ruined my results because I ate this donut, and then you're like, fuck it. So now I'm just gonna have a burger and fries tonight because like I already ate the donut. And then like, oh, I might as well just have a couple drinks. That's what happens. Like, in your head, you think that this one treat meal ruined everything, because you feel bad having something that tastes good and feel good or whatever. And now you have gone down what I like to call the domino effect of giving a quote unquote cheat meal power. Tough trainer alert. It's absolutely ridiculous for you to think that way. Now, there are some people who probably shouldn't have sugar. I know some people are addicted to sugar. Even me, like if I'm on vacation, I eat way more fun. I don't say I cheat. I have fun. Like, I know I'm going to gain weight on vacation, because I'm literally not going to be one of these people that's like, "Ooh, I'm not going to have that." If you got some pancakes in the morning at breakfast, pancakes that I've never had before, I'm eating the pancakes. Now, you may not be somebody that's able to do that because of your own health, right? If you're on a plan, like, I get it. My whole point is just don't give power to like that one piece of cake or that one cookie that you're going to have at that party. Like, if you don't like cake, that's one thing. But when I go to a birthday party, I'm not going to be like, oh, no, I'm not going to have a piece. I'm having a piece. I might have two, actually. So anyway, last thing to talk about with this, is it more harmful than helpful to have a weight loss goal? Now, that is very personal. That is very personal. For me to have a weight loss goal, it is harmful, because I'm not looking at a couple things when I personally have a weight loss goal. I'm not focused on how I feel. I'm not enjoying the fuel that I'm putting in my body. I'm not going to enjoy my workouts. My whole entire existence and my happiness is based on the number that I see when I step on the scale in the morning. And that is literally not a great place to be. That's for me. And you may agree with that. Now, there are some people out there that's like, I'm really committed. Like, this is my nutrition. I want to make sure I'm losing weight. And that really helps them as well. When I combine the two things, me personally, and a lot of you may not know this, you weigh more. If you eat all of your food during the day and you drink all the water you need to drink, you're going to weigh more at night than you do in the morning. And your weight fluctuates all the time. It literally just does. It's rare for one particular person to be like, I am this same weight every single day. Like, if I get on a scale every single day, one day I might be 241. Sometimes the next day I'm 239.5. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have a weight loss goal because you're aiming towards something, but it's not good if the number is the power. If you give power to a number, you can oftentimes just feel really miserable. So I say focus on the feeling first. And then the last thing I'll say with that is, there's this one woman that I know, she would always lose 20 pounds. And because the first time she lost 20 pounds, she gained the weight back. The 20 pounds is like such a huge barrier for her. And it becomes a horrible thing. It's like, I lost 20 pounds. Like, I know I'm going to gain it back. And the thing is, that's what I'm saying. Don't give power to a number. Just stay the course. If you eat to feel good, if you don't overdo it, if you don't deprive yourself, and you just like find a way to be like, I'm going to enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. You have to find a way to enjoy the process. You'll find. In closing, I know, again, we talk about a lot about weight loss and cheat meals, treat meals. And, we talked a lot about situational exercise. Again, what I say is it comes from my experience from seeing people transform and transforming myself. But at the end of the day, the best thing you can do is to make the best decision for your headspace. You understand what I'm saying? This has to be great. That's why if I get mad at myself, if I'm like, I eat really healthy all the time. I eat 6 times a day. All of my meals are whole foods. I would get mad at myself if Scott was like, hey, you want to go out to dinner tonight? Like, oh my God, this place has great steak and they have that apple crisp that you like at dessert. I would get really mad at myself if 90% of the time I eat really healthy and I turn down a date with my husband because I'm afraid I'm like, oh no, I can't have that. Like, I'm going to get mad at myself. So I don't want to get mad at myself in this process. I want to be excited about this. I want to have, people say portion control. I think it's less about portion control and just like mental management, right? Like this, as far as we know, and as far as I believe, like we're only here once. So I need to make this life as best as it can. Yes, I'm a bodybuilder. So there are times that I have to be like super ripped. But in the times that I don't have to be, I'm super healthy, but I'm also having a good time. And I do that for my headspace. So if you find yourself going down this path of your personal fitness journey and your mental health and your mental fitness is falling apart, I think you need to focus more on the why that's happening and what are you giving power to? Are you giving power to what other people think of you? Are you giving power to food? Are you not enjoying your life because you're so worried about the number on the scale? And also, and this may sound a little rude, like, why are you trying to lose weight in the first place? Like, why do you want to look good? You have to answer that question. Because for me, like I say, I want to look good naked. And I'm like, that is my motivation. I want to look good. I want to feel good. At 46 years old, I'm like, listen, I'm trying to stay like this as long as I can. And that is motivational to me. But it doesn't deprive me from having a donut or a piece of cake or a piece of pizza if I want some. I mean, I can't eat cheese, so it eliminates a lot of calories there. Joking. I mean, I'm not joking. I can't have cheese. But anyway, just find a way to have a good headspace as you're going through your process. And you will feel great. And you will continue to transform. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time on T is for Transformation.